That thing even, I thought it was like
Um,
turned towards us, or towards, does it look alright?
yeah, it looks exactly the same spot. It's kind of halfway through that one mirror, or the one window.
Is it going?
It's going. Yep.
Alright, sweet.
So, so I want to talk a little bit about that, the spiritual journey that you were on, and what happened while you were, while you were coming through this, while you first woke up, and what kind of happened next? I mean, what you remember about everything.
Okay, so the whole spiritual thing was I got convicted by the spirit, which I believe,
What does
God.
that mean?
Okay, it's like you're.
Like you're coming out of the coma. I want you
Yeah.
to start there.
Okay, I just got done seeing all these crazy things, and
Like, what do you mean? You just got done seeing all these crazy things?
all right, well, this last I had different dreams, I had different visions, and it was like so surreal, and it seemed so real and extremely vivid that I can't block it out of my head. I tried to for 3 years, but it just wouldn't happen.
So in the ER, when you didn't know it, but you were, you were dying, and
Yeah.
you had died, and they were trying to save your life.
Yep.
And you said 100 transfusions.
100 blood transfusions, 120 surgeries. This was a 2 weeks period of time.
But you found yourself in a dark place.
Yeah. First, okay, so I got into the ER. The doctor's like, do you know where you are? Who are you? What happened? And I was like, yeah, my name's Tim Payne. I was in Zaire, Afghanistan. Got blown up July 3rd, 2011, 9:30 in the morning. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna put you out. As soon as they put me out, I fell asleep, but I woke up and I didn't remember anything that happened beforehand. I just woke up in this place, and I'm like, I could feel like this damp between my fingers. It was like cool and like really moist, and I'm like waking up like, whoa, what the heck is going on? I'm in this dark cavern, and all of a sudden there's like these rocks and stuff that just kind of like coming out of the ground, and it like formed like this giant like, I don't know, thing, and it like, as soon as I locked eyes on it, it like saw me, and it was like, oh crap, I'm gonna run. So I started running, and it started chasing me down deeper and deeper. It was like a spiral going around, and there were like these giant pillars, and then it was like as vast as you could see. It was like far out
And
there.
it was all dark.
It was all dark. It was all dark.
And
So I
you
tried
ran.
climbing out. I was trying to climb out, and then I would just fall. I fell down deeper, and it was like, to me, it was all a fear-based reality. So I was like being chased, falling, drowning, being isolated. It was just different scenarios where like my mind couldn't take any more of it, and I would be instantly transported to something else where it was just all torment. And then the last one that I had was like in between these, I was like going back into my body and having these really weird dreams, and then I would remanifest in this other stuff. So I could tell the difference between like these dreams were just like pretty random. Like there was like a Karate Kid, and was marathon.
So it was like
going on.
regular dreams, but then sucked
Yeah,
back into this
exactly.
black, dark stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, but the last one, it was like I was in a dream where I was with my family, and we were going to the movie theater to go see Captain America. I don't know why it was Captain America, but we were just going to see it. And got to the entrance place, but as soon as I got to the entrance of the movie theater, that's when the sky fell. It was like a curtain. It was just like falling from like, I could see it, but it was like drapes just falling straight down. And behind it was the hallways of the hospital. So I'm like, whoa. So it's like I'm in the hallways of the hospital, and they're running me down the hallways in my bed. And as soon as I got into the elevator, my spirit just kind of like turned into like this big ball of light and just straight up, like a lightning bolt, just going the opposite of like hitting the ground, but it was going straight up. So I'm going up, and I look down and I see the elevator shaft, and then I go through the ceiling, and then I look down and see the hospital shrink down to nothing. Then I see,
You were going that fast, it just looked like the hospital.
yeah, it was
kind of-
like boom, it was gone. And then I
Wow.
looked down and I saw the earth go boom, it was gone too. And then I looked to my right and left, and I see the stars just like, like streaks of light, because that's how fast I was going. I was going even faster and faster, and looked up and I saw this big white light, and bam, I was like in another world.
Wow.
Yeah, and as soon as I got there, I was like, what the heck's going on? And there were these dudes standing in front of me, and they were just talking to each other, and I'm looking around, and I see how, like, I'm in a giant compound, I'm wearing a battle uniform, these guys wearing battle uniforms, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, yo, there's a fight going on, let's go out there and fight these guys. They looked at me, and they're like, yo, you're not supposed to be here. And I was like, doesn't matter. I'm here now. Let's go out there. There's a battle going on. Let's go fight. And he's like, no. You got to go back. Don't you remember you got injured? I'm like, who cares? Who cares about that? Like, no, you made a deal. You got to go back to Walter Reed. Don't you know? You got to go back and heal and stuff. And you made a bargain. I'm like, oh, that's right. Boom! Sent right back. The next thing you know, I'm flying right back. On the way back, I see the planet is on fire and brimstone. And then passed right through it. And I got slammed right back in my body. But at this point, I woke up in my room, and I'm like, whoa! I like wake up, and I see my dad next to me, and he's like, I was like, Dad, you're not gonna believe what I saw. Like, nuclear war's no good. And he's like, Tim, you're at Walter Reed. Got injured in Afghanistan. You're okay. And I was like, I know where I'm at. And he was like, hit this, and I was like starting to press the narcotic button, the morphine. So I'm like, whoa! We're just pressing the morphine button, like just repetitively, and then that was like the beginning of the battle.
You're swimming through the pain. When was it that you started like putting all of those things together? Like,
it was the death of my brother-in-law. When I was.
He perished at Letchworth. He fell off a cliff.
Yeah, February 5th last year.
That's a terrible time to be at Letchworth. I just want to say, because everything's slippery and the cliffs are just sheer drops.
I know, and he went out there like 8:30 in the morning, and then he died around like 1:30 in the afternoon. And it was so crazy because at the same time when this happened, I was watching YouTube videos of people that just go disappearing or die in state parks, and it was like when the.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so crazy. I'm like. And I had an appointment to go get my vehicle worked on, but I skipped the appointment because I was too busy just watching YouTube. Like I was always watching these videos on like the economy and what was going on, because I was just transitioning from pulling my money out of the stock market to invest into gold and silver. But I was like, I had enough. My brain was like pretty much fried from just reading all this stuff.
So when you found out that he had died, was that kind of an event that made you like sit and look at like what you're doing with your life and what?
Yeah, but a lot of it was like just the coincidence of like how it happened, because like for the month prior, I was every single day I was telling my ex-wife, I'm like, hey, why didn't you ask your brother to come down here? Like I for the whole month I felt horrible that she had to pack everything, and I would go work out, and I was like, hey, when he have your brother come down to help us pack, because I can't help you move anything.
Yeah, and there he is.
Yeah, and he was on unemployment.
So what happened after he died?
After he died, I was like, listen, I saw things when I died. I was super depressed, and I was suicidal, but then it just kind of all went away.
You kind of just opened up to your wife about all this stuff that you hadn't told her.
I told her everything.
What was her response?
She was just overwhelmed with grief from her brother passing away.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think she could even realize what was going on.
What happened next?
So I was like, hey, look, everything to me, this is like a crazy sign. So I don't know if I'm going to drive out here tomorrow and get in a car accident. So I really need to figure this out. Would you help me figure this out? I was like, I saw all these things, I've been through all these things, I made a deal and all this crap. And she was like, I can't do it. And I was like, that's fine, I got it, no problem. So the next few months go by, I'm asking my mom, because she's pretty spiritual, and she just gives me this book called The Harbinger, and I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out. I started reading it, and it had the same type of links. They're like a whole set of events happened in my life, but then as soon as I got this book had a whole set of events also, and so it kind of like correlated. Like I have an individual story, but this is like significant events for like the nation, and it had to do with like 9/11, the housing collapse, and then like all the other things that coincided together. So I read the book in like a couple days, and I'm like, whoa! I was like, all these things line up with like ancient scriptures,
right? And
then they all like happened before in the past. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is my answer. So I started looking into the scripture and just getting a pretty big scope of like the whole story of the Bible, and just trying to figure this out. And
what you started with, what part of the Bible?
Okay, well, I was asking this guy these questions, and he was like, stop asking me questions, just read the freaking scriptures. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So, like, he's right. I was like, he's absolutely right. I should just read it, because if I'm just asking all these questions, not going to get me anywhere. So I was like, I'm going to start with my name. My name's Timothy. So I started, with the second book of Timothy, I don't know why I started with that. Maybe because I was in 2nd Platoon when I was in the 82nd Airborne Division. So I started the second book, and my call sign when I was there was 2-3. So I was dog 2-3 like the whole time. That was like my call sign. Everyone called me that. So when I got to 2-3 or chapter 2 verse 3, it was like endure hardships as a good soldier in Jesus Christ, and I was like, whoa! I was like, how is this even possible? And that's like the only scripture I've read almost the whole Bible since then, but it's like the only one where it talks about like being a good soldier and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm like,
That's something.
I was like, wow. And then I asked God to really help me out. I'm like, I need to know if I'm gonna go to heaven or not. And so after training and just living righteously through what God says, I was like, yo, give me a sign, man, I need to know. And then bam, it hit me, and I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do? He's like, well, check it out. He's like, first, you try to be a ranger, you got hurt. You tried for special forces, got hurt. You tried for special forces again, and you got orders for recruiting, and then you tried out for this other job, and you got yourself blown up. You're trying to live yourself, you're trying to live your life for yourself, when you should be living your life for me. So if you want to be special, go out there and be special for me as opposed to yourself. And I was like, you got it, man. I was like, I know it.
So you come to a point where you're all in. I'm all in.
Yep.
What happened? I mean, did your life change after that?
Yeah, it was super fast. My ex-wife was like, I don't even know who you are anymore. And I was like, well, I told you everything I was doing step by step, but you chose to ignore me. And she's like, well, you either can choose. You either choose me or God. And I was like, you can't do that. I left.
Yeah.
I left, came back with the Bible. I'm like, here's your choice. Either you can help me figure this out or not. And she was like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I was like trying to get baptized, calling these different pastors. I'm like, hey man, I need to get baptized. And they're like, oh, well, you can do it in November. This is like in July. And I'm like, bro, I was like, I need to do this now. I was like, you don't understand. I need to get this done right now.
Right.
So I called my mom, and she gets it scheduled for August 2nd up here in Buffalo. So I like came home, and I'm swimming, and I'm like, yo, I need to get. I was like, I decided right then and there, I'm like, this is the last bad thing I'm gonna do. I told my wife to move out of the apartment.
Yeah.
So got her out, got divorced, and then right after that, these people gave me a rifle. That was actually before they gave me this rifle. And then after that, I got this truck donated to me, and then I wrote this book. And
it's not that you say, okay, I'm all in, now give me stuff.
yeah,
But once you decide to do his bidding for him here on earth,
right.
You probably look different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always in a great mood. It's like as soon as I gave him my heart and let his teachings dictate my lifestyle, it says that he'll give you the desires of your heart and he'll carry you along the way. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do these things. And then all these things started happening. Like I got a rifle, and then I got a truck, and then these people are like, hey, we want to give you this house. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, shoot, all right, cool. And then I got another rifle.
So your mom called and said, they're giving Tim a house, and I went online and I see, that you're live in front of the house, and the reporter is saying, so, what do you think about all this? And she hands you the microphone, and what did you say?
I was like, I just want to thank Jesus.
And I love that, because in my very early days, I worked at Channel 7.
Yeah.
And we would always go, because then how are you going to edit that?
Right.
You were live, so there was no editing. I just thought that was just so wonderful that you did that. You give him glory, and because really, once you turn your life over, he'll make things happen for you.
Yeah, and it's more than just like getting physical things. It's like when you know where you're going, it's like you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
There's no fear of death or nothing. So it's like, and then he like rejuvenated my spirit. So I'm like always happy. I'm always in a good mood, and I just know that like he's gonna take care of me regardless. And there's like so many Psalms or like Proverbs that are just like strengthen you. Like you read them and you're like, blah blah blah, and it's like you can just feel his presence come at you. And it's like, whoa, man. He's like, you got nothing to worry about, man. I'm gonna take care of you. And I'm like, all right, man. That sounds great to me. I'm like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. So it's
Isn't that incredible?
super motivating.
It's the decision to keep your end of the bargain.
Yeah. I'm living up to. I should have died on that battlefield. That bomb I stepped on was 30 pounds. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, before I even deployed, we went out to a demo range and we put together a 30-pound bomb and blew up these 2 trees, and it like destroyed these trees. So like,
Yeah, you shouldn't have lived past
I
that.
shouldn't have lived past it.
So this is the Squad Leader's Bargain by Timothy Payne, and I will have the links on my my Facebook page, and I recommend, you know, if you have a middle schooler, if you have a high schooler, that you put one of these under the Christmas tree. You can see what a short book it is, but it's incredibly inspiring, and a lot of kids today are struggling with a lot of things, a lot of pressures, a lot of peer stuff that's just bad.
Bullying.
A lot of bullying, and like you said, you know, you were the overweight kid who had asthma who couldn't move,
Yeah.
and I think your story would be very inspiring for them also. But if you are a veteran that has been injured, and you find that you are caught up in the pain med aspect of Tim's story, I would really encourage you to reach out to him and shoot him an email, tpayne115@gmail.com, and I'll also have that on my Facebook. And maybe Tim can give you some encouragement on how to do this, and to walk with God and let God solve some of those pain issues for you. And so let me ask you something. So that is a plug for your book here, and it's a quick read. It's not one of those I read it in maybe 3.5 hours, and because I was marking up the pages, and it's the perfect. It's not the big novel that you have to commit weeks and weeks to.
I did it short because I don't read. I trust me. Like I hated reading.
You read the Bible. That's a lot of words.
Yeah. It was a big transition, but when I wrote it, it was before I read the Bible, and then now I've just been refining it as I've been learning more and more and more, and just trying to make it a really smooth transition.
Yes.
So that's what.
So let's talk a little bit about today. As a person who is not in the military, but has a daughter who's currently in and a son who got out 2 years ago, I look at something like France, and I sit there, and it's going to impact me directly because I do have kids in the military. But I haven't been out there with a weapon fighting these people.
Right.
Where you actually have. What are your thoughts when you watch the news and you see what's going on in France?
Well, I know that this is going to get worse as time goes on.
They've said they're coming here. I mean,
yes.
We're their next target.
Yeah, and the best thing anybody can do is find what they're going to put their faith in first, and then be vigilant and understand all these other things that are happening around us, because I like to be prepared. I've always, as a soldier, you want to analyze all the situation, devise a plan, and execute that plan. It's critical thinking. You want to become a critical thinker. That way you can look at all the things that are on your plate, and then you can figure out what's going to be best for you, your family, your community, and then the nation, and then for the man upstairs, because it's like these people are just motivated by just pure evil.
Yeah, they really are.
They were like if you think somebody just robbing you for your purse or something, or like some guy just being a bully is evil, that's nothing. These people that are motivated with this like crazy Sharia law aspect of life is beyond what anyone can ever imagine.
I have a feeling, and I don't know why this happened, but there are a lot of people that really can't even grasp that there is evil. I posted something about being prepared. Everybody should have, a good 30 days of food in their house, and in case things shut down, if something big happens here, and it will be multi-city, and just what. Some of those things. Make sure you can protect your home. Make sure this, make sure that. And someone actually remarked, you shouldn't scare everybody. Even if this is true, you shouldn't put it out there.
Right. Well, it's that goes into denial. I mean,
right.
It's you have to take control of the situation that you're in. If you are ignoring all these things that are happening around, and you're just living in your little bubble, and you're just like focused on like what makes you comfortable on a daily basis, but all these things are happening around you, and you choose to block them out. Well, when it's at your doorstep, what are you gonna do? I'm pretty sure in I can't remember what the guy's name is, but it's like takes place in World War II Germany, where it's like they came for these people, but nobody did anything. And they came for these people, and I didn't need to do anything. And then they came for these people, and I didn't do anything. But when they came for me, it's like nobody was there to stand up for me.
Right.
So it's like the same type of basis to like, I mean, we live in a crazy world.
One of the things that I found, you know, and it was my son who, when I explained all the reasons why I shouldn't run for office, because it's such a mess in Washington.
Right.
I just thought it was too late. He looked at me and he said, well, then we should go down fighting. That's what they taught me.
Yep.
So I would implore everyone to think about, you know, Tim's commitment, to think about all of the men and women who serve, that commitment to not give up, regardless of who the adversary is, regardless of what the battle is, and really come up with a plan. And if things get a little crazy in this country, but most of all, you kind of have to get right with God, because if, like you said, if you know where you're going, you have no fear of going there.
Exactly.
Because you shot up there,
right.
And we're told it wasn't your time. It was kind of like a movie.
Yeah.
And really interesting.
And then I was in denial for like 3 years. I didn't want to face it. And then it was like when my brother-in-law died, I was like, I quit. I'm done. I'm gonna figure this out. And then,
yeah, because you know it's when you have to face it, you kind of probably knew that life was going to drastically change. It had to. Right. You couldn't be who you were anymore. That's why they call it born again, because you're kind of born a second time. Yeah. And but your story I know, because you when I met you, you shine. You just do. You emanate joy. And it's kind of hard to take that in with you in a wheelchair with no legs.
I know, right?
You're shining.
Yeah.
And you're happy.
Yeah.
And so I hope other people can not have to go through what you've gone through and be able to shine.
Yeah, they can do it. Anybody can do it. All they need to do is just follow the scriptures, and then when the timing's right, and you just ask God to be in your heart, it happens, and it's like an invisible lightning bolt. And I can't even try to articulate the feeling, or just to feel like how His presence is known. Okay. So it's like it's the most amazing thing possible.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for writing your book, and I wish you all the best in the opportunities that are going to unfold in front of you. Yeah. To talk to people and inspire people that might be down, might be involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in, right, and need to get things right with where they're going. Yeah. And once you do that, God puts all those things right in front of you.
Right, He does.
Yeah. Well, God bless you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank
God bless you too.
All right.
Yeah. That's cool.
That was probably even better than the one before.
Yeah.
We got kind of lost. Okay, so let's put this in. Do you know what I'm doing at the office, Shirley? Oh, Tim is, let me get the report. So, we have files dating from 2001.
Oh, really?
So you're putting them into the...
And no, I mean, patients that we haven't seen since 2001. So we have that back room that had 2 full, 5 stacks. And then the 3 fold in the front, and then another wall. And nobody has ever thrown any of the files away. So there are patients that we haven't seen in 14 years, and we're only obligated to keep them for 7. And really in obstetrics, keeping files is not good. Because if they call you and say, do you have the file, and you have it, you have to give it to them. If it's gone, there's nothing you can do. If a baby's been born, you have to keep that file for 19 years, beyond the birth of the baby. So every single file I have to open, I have to look for prenatal records, I have to look for that graph. if that graph is there, I have to add 19 years, and then mark on the front of it, keep her, you know, P for pregnant, and
Yeah.
save until 2026, or whenever it is. And if some of these women were born in 1912. Okay, we don't have to keep those records. Those are the easy ones, you
So how
know?
are you destroying the records then?
Shredit's gonna come.
Oh, okay.
So I've done all of, I've gone through all of them. I've done 2001, 2, 3, and 4. And I probably have just a stack like this left. But they all have to be taken out of the metal, you know, the metal
Yes.
prongs,
Mhm.
because that won't go through the shredder. So they all have to be taken apart
Yeah.
and put in letter boxes. And they had business records back to 2000.